I've tried making this video and it's kind of struggling right now. But anyways, today was my first day home, not home, here in Tokyo by myself. My parents left yesterday morning to go back to America because they had to work. So I decided to go out do my thing and just go wherever. So I ended up going to Tokyo Midtown, which is like a 15-minute walk from where I live. And then I took the metro to Shibuya, to say Shibuya Station / crossing, and I was up at the Starbucks cafe on the second floor, like where everyone sits. So before I rant, I'm just gonna tell you what happened. So I got a green tea frap, and then I wanted to sit up on the second floor and get a view of the crossing. So I was waiting for a spot. It was crowded. There was nowhere to sit. And then finally, I got a seat. So in my little area, there was it was a bar and two stools, me and another girl sitting next to each other. Me, other girl. So yeah, we're just sitting there, minding our own business. I wasn't talking to her, she wasn't talking to me. It was whatever. Then all of a sudden, this guy comes out. This guy comes out of nowhere and is like, "Oh, excuse me, can I sit in between you two? There's definitely room in between." So we're like, okay, fine. Because there was probably a decent amount of room in between us compared to other areas that people were sitting in. It was enough for another person. So we're like, okay. And I moved over to the edge so that he could sit in the middle. And then, yeah, he was reading a text message, and I was just like, okay. I was literally just minding my own business. He was reading a text message, and he goes, "Oh, can you read this?" It was in Japanese. And I was just like, can't read it, sorry. And then I go back to my phone, looking at Facebook, Twitter, whatever. And then he was just like, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were Japanese." And I was like, "Nope, not, it's Japanese." He's like, "Oh, so where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm from America." And he's like, and I was like, "I'm Filipino." He's like, "Oh, so are you parents from America?" It's like, "Oh, is your dad from America, or is he Filipino or Japanese?" And I was like, "He's Filipino as well." And he's like, "Oh, so is your mom American or whatever?" I was like, "Both of my parents are Filipino. They were born there, and they moved to America to work." And he's just like, "Oh, okay." And then he stops talking to me to ask the girl next to me if she can read the text too. And it was she was a white girl, and I was not expecting her to know. No offense, but yeah. I was just like, oh, I could tell by when she spoke, she had an accent, a French accent. So I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't know. So she just said no, and then he tried asking her the same questions too. She was more friendly about it, and then yeah, eventually she left, and then he took her seat. So we were sitting next to each other. And now he's sitting in the seat where she was, and then he sits there, and then he looks at me and goes, "I think you're beautiful." And I was like, "Thanks," you know, whatever. And he's like, "So, how long are you gonna be here in Japan?" And I was like, "Oh, 3 weeks." And he's just like, "Oh, do you have family with you? Did you travel with your family?" I was like, "Yes, I'm with my family," even though my parents left yesterday. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want him to follow me home or something creepy. So I was like, "Yeah, they're here." It's like, they're in Japan, but they're not with me. Like, "Oh, so you're a big girl. So are you a student in America?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, in high school?" I was like, "In college." He's like, "Oh, what year are you?" It's like, "I'm a third year, or I'm gonna go into my third year in the fall." He was like, "Oh, what are you studying?" And I was like, "Counting." He's just like, "Oh, accountants are so selfish. They work with banks and companies," and I didn't really understand what he was saying because he had an accent too. He's from South Africa, apparently. I heard from his conversation with the other girl. But yeah, he was just like, "They're so selfish, blah, blah, blah." And I was just like, okay. And then he was just like, "Oh yeah, my mom and my sister were in Japan, not in Japan, in New York for a while, but I didn't like it there." And I was like, "Why did you not like it there?" And he's like, "I don't like America." I was just like, okay, why don't you like America? And he's just like, "Because America's full of bullshit. I was just like, oh, okay. And he's just like, I don't even remember what he said after. He might have just stopped because I think his phone went off. And then he answered the phone. He's like, can you call back? It's like, can I call you back later? And like, that was my cue. And I was just like, I'm just going to pretend I'm reading this book, which I was trying to read this book. But he kept talking to me. So I just went back to reading on my Kindle. And then he left me alone. And then luckily, someone sat in between us. Some like random dude. And I was like, okay, cool. Now he won't bug me anymore. So he stopped talking to me. Thank God, finally. And then eventually he leaves because some other girl needed that seat. So, yeah. So now there's the rant. First off, just because I'm Asian does not make me Japanese if I'm in Japan. No. Just no. People around me know that I hate when people think I'm like some other like nationality or ethnicity besides Chinese or Japanese, or like besides my actual nationality, which is Filipino. I hate when people do that. Hate it. Like, irks me to no end because, I mean, I get it, not a lot of Filipinos in America, unless there are certain areas like California, New Jersey, and stuff. But do not take assumptions just because I'm in Japan, meaning that I am Japanese. No. No. Second was the fact that he thought that one of my parents was born in America, or white or something. And when that was not true, both my parents came to America to work as nurses. They were born and raised in Philippines. Good going. And then third was the fact that he called my major, or people who are in my major, selfish. Like, I get it, business people do not have the best image, I guess. Some people don't. I mean, I get it, like, people make money, like, business people make money, and there's greed and stuff, but do not assume that anyone in the business major or the business field is selfish. And I would hope that my friends and, like, family and people close to me do not think I'm selfish. I don't think I am. Like, not to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take all this money. Oh. It's like, I only think about myself. No, I don't really. I would hope I don't do that. I mean, yeah. I don't know. And then, what else was there? And the fact that he was saying to me, like, he hates America. Like, you're talking to a person who's born and raised American. Like, I'm not, like, whitewash American, but I mean, like, I'm from America. I was born and raised there. You don't go telling an American person, oh, I hate America. It's like going to you and saying, I hate your fucking country too. That's just fucked up. Keep that shit to yourself. It's like, I could tell he was like trying to hit on me and failing miserably because he kept insulting me as he kept going along. It's just like, you're doing a shitty job. Please shut up. Thanks. Bye. It was just the most frustrating conversation, and I just wanted him to leave me alone because I came there, I was doing my own thing that day. Today I was just going out, doing my own thing, being by myself, getting used to being in the city, and I don't need someone trying to get into my business. I don't know you, I'm never gonna see you again. Leave me the fuck alone. And I don't want to be rude about it and be like, can you please stop talking to me? So I just would look at my phone and I would look at my book to like ignore him, or he would get the hint that I'm not interested in talking to him. It's like, you're bothering me. Thanks. Okay, bye. Yeah, I just hate when people assume that I'm some other nationality / ethnicity. Hate it. Like, okay, get it, if you call me Asian, okay, that's fine. Because that's the generalization. But, like, my ethnicity and my nationality, do not just assume. Because that will piss me off to no end. Because I've gotten that so many times in the past. Just because, like, I hang out with a lot of, like, Vietnamese or Chinese people. And it's just like, just because I hang out with them does not mean I am the same. But anyways, that's my rant. So that was my day. Bye.